Now look, the saying is not more money, more style. In fact, in my big age, I have learned that you do not need to spend more money. And when I have spent less money, I have improved my style. So I'm excited to be sharing with you the things that I stopped doing, I no longer do, that truly took my style to that next level, that really helped me not only find the pieces that made me look good, because of course, you know I want to look good, but made me feel good as well, because I have found that that is such a critical part of having amazing style and always looking good. And literally my style would not be what it is today without all of these different steps. So if you're trying to figure out if you're doing any of these things and how you can not only dramatically improve your style, but feel more confident, then keep watching. Welcome back to my channel. So happy to have you here. If you happen to be new, I'm Jordan Blackwell, materials engineer turned lifestyle content creator behind Little Miss JB Style, sharing with you life's possibilities through style, helping you find not only what makes you look good, because of course, like I just said, I want you to look good, but really going that extra step to find what makes you feel good too. So if you want content like that from style, beauty, travel, and of course lifestyle, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Now grab your drink of choice. You know I love a crafted latte. Dessert Oasis does it just right for me all the time, and I have a rose pistachio today. And let's dive into the things I stopped doing, starting with arguably one of the most important things that not just improved my style, but really improved my confidence. And that was that I stopped asking for other people's opinions. Look, this translates not just in style, but in your life as well. Like, one of the things that really took me a long time to understand was the reason that I wasn't confident in myself was because I kept looking externally. I kept texting people asking, do you like my outfit? What do you think is gonna look cute? Instead of learning to listen to my voice. And that for me started around college, when I was finally able to be on my own, out and about. I'm paying my own bills. I got my own spending money. So it was at that time that I really was able to branch out, because I also got access to all kinds of stores like H&M, Forever 21, What Seal, Charlotte, Ruse, Millennials, if you know, you know. And that's when I really started not just to dive in and experiment with my style, but that was also when I started leaning into not worrying about what everybody else thought of my outfits and not asking everybody their opinion. And this can be tricky, especially because you might feel like you're new, you want to make sure you're getting it just right. But the thing is, there is no right or wrong when it comes to your style. The only thing that you might get, of course, is just a hype person, right? Like, yes, babe, that's cute. Or someone telling you like, no, I don't like it. But 9 times out of 10, I found that that was just holding back my style. And when I stopped asking people their opinions and really listened to, do I like how this fits me? Do I like how I feel in this piece? Do I like the feel of the piece? You know, that materials engineer in me, I need to have pieces that feel, they gotta feel good. And I started tapping in and tuning into those things and really listening to myself on those things. And that really helped me to become more confident, because I knew the answer. I didn't have to ask somebody else for the answer. I knew if I liked that piece. I knew if I felt like that piece made me feel good. And that's so crucial when it comes to not just finding your style, but becoming confident, because we've all heard it, right? Like, when you're confident, you can rock anything. And that truly is the case. Like, when you look at the girlies who even wear very minimal, very simple outfits, the reason they be given the vibes that you're looking for is because they are confident in that minimal outfit. And the same as the girlies who are maximalists. It's like, bam, wow, that's a lot of color, a lot of contrast, and I would feel self-conscious. But we always admire those girlies who really come out doing the most, because we admire that confidence. And that just has come from listening to yourself and tapping into your intuition. Now, the great thing about asking people's opinions, you can start that today, right? Like, you can just decide, I'm no longer asking anybody their opinion about what I like, do I like how this looks on me, or about this outfit. That you can start today. But this next one, it's gonna take some time, and it's something that's gonna take a little bit of work, but is so important. And that is to stop talking bad about yourself. I don't see this talked about in enough videos when it comes to improving your style. Your inner talk, your self-talk to yourself, that impacts you. Even when you're joking, even when you're trying to like, haha, play it off, that self-deprecation, babes, that is out. We are not doing that. If I've learned anything at the age of 32, shaming myself has never made me suddenly change. It has never made me be like, all right, that's it. I've made myself feel bad enough. Let me just go do the thing. That has not worked for me. And on top of that, that's so damaging. Like, how can you expect to be confident when you are talking bad about yourself, when you're calling yourself ugly, when you're saying that you're fat, when you're saying that you don't look good? That's not ever gonna give you confidence. And so the way that I started to really make this happen was, one, being more tuned into my thoughts. And how I first started this was I stopped out loud making jokes about myself. I know people do this all the time. Like they're so quick to just, haha, but with my stomach, or haha, but with my skin. Like, it's not funny. Don't use yourself as the butt of a joke. That literally impacts you on so many different levels. And if you are someone who does that, I understand. It seems easier to laugh about it. It seems easier to poke fun, like acknowledging that but 9 times out of 10, a lot of the things that you are self-conscious about, or you may not like about yourself, that's not public knowledge. That isn't an announcement or a billboard written on your forehead. Like, I'm not looking at somebody going, yeah, I can totally tell she's insecure about her eyebrows. I can totally tell that she is insecure about the fact that like her stomach isn't flat, right? Like 99% of the time, that is not something that's just like written on your chest. And you also aren't doing any favors by joking about it with people, because it also, unfortunately, I don't think that it is an invitation. I don't think that how you let people treat you is a sign of how you love yourself. I really don't believe that, because people are trash people. That to me is saying, oh, because you're blind, I'm allowed to rob you because you can't see. No, that's not the blind person's fault. They can't see. I'm a bad person. That would make me a bad person. And so in that same vein, unfortunately, because a lot of people have the other mindset where how you talk about yourself is how other people are allowed to talk about you, that means you shouldn't make jokes at your expense, because that might teach other people to make jokes at your expense. And in that same vein, if somebody in your circle is making jokes at your expense, dead that shit right now. Okay, the next time somebody goes, oh, what, you're wearing the same things, like you don't have money, like, oh, what, like, I don't know how you do it with those small boobs. Say, you know what, you're not allowed to talk to me that way. You're not allowed to make jokes about me in my situation. That's not acceptable. And if you think you're my friend by doing that, you're not. Like, I can roast with the best of them. Ask my exes. I do not mind. I do not mind getting my roast on. But there are certain things I am never gonna joke about with my loved ones, with my friends, because why would I even give you the inkling that I might even possibly think about you in that way? You should not joke about yourself in that way, and you should not allow other people to talk about you in that way. There are gonna be obviously people outside of your control, right? Like, who are not in your friend group, who coworkers, bullies, whatever, right? You're not gonna be able to did everybody. But in your circle, that's where it starts. It starts when you stop making jokes about yourself, and it starts when you stop allowing other people to joke about you. The next step is then to really monitor your inner thoughts, okay? This is gonna take some time, because even now I might wake up and go, ooh, I look a little bloated. Ooh, I look a little, and when I do that, I go, baby, JB, J. We're not doing that. That's not something I'm engaging in. That's not a thought I'm allowing myself to have. And that's a really great start. The other one that I've heard a lot of people like to give themselves affirmations instead. Like, oh, you know what? I'm really not bloated. In fact, I'm gorgeous. I'm a goddess. I'm giving snatch. I'm giving body. Like, I look exactly how I want to look. I'm my dream self. That is also amazing too. Find what works for you, but really, really start tuning into your thoughts. A pimple does not make you ugly, baby. Your stretch marks do not make you ugly. Having a belly does not make you ugly. Not having the fattest booty butt cheeks does not make you ugly. None of that makes you ugly. And that's why it's so important to stop talking bad about yourself in every aspect, right? Of course, the first focus usually is on the physical. That tends to be where a lot of us are hardest on ourselves. We don't look our best, right? Like, my hair is not perfect, my makeup's not perfect, my body's not perfect. But I also invite you to extend this in other areas. Like, on the days that you feel like you need rest, don't sit there and be like, oh God, I'm so lazy, I'm just worthless, da da da. Don't do that. Do not do that. That's not an invitation for you to beat yourself up. So when I say I stopped the bad self-talk, I stopped it on all fronts. I didn't make myself feel bad if I missed a workout or enjoyed an extra cookie or 6. I don't make myself feel bad at all anymore. I refuse to, because the world's already trying to do that enough, okay? We've seen the ads, we see how people talk to each other. People are gonna try and make you feel bad enough. Do not be one of them to yourself. And I stress this mindset shift because we are not allowing fear to dictate us anymore, okay? We are not gonna let insecurity dictate us anymore. That is one of the biggest reasons I see people's styles struggle so much, because they allow that to take precedence, especially when there isn't truth to it, right? Just because somebody else in your past or even present has made a comment that you may not look how you wanna look, or that you aren't a baddie or whatever, that doesn't mean it's true. That does not mean it's true. Their opinion of you, especially if they're not paying the bills, babes, someone's opinion is not a fact. Someone saying, I don't think you look good in that, someone saying, I don't think you're attractive, that doesn't make it a fact. That doesn't make it a fact. That is their opinion. And they're allowed to have that opinion, but that does not mean it's true, babes. And that's really why I stress these mindset shifts, because that really stands in the way of finding your style. Which leads me into the third thing that I did, and that was that I stopped saying that things were not for me. Baby, don't limit yourself. We have seen those mediocre people apply for those jobs and get them. We have seen people underqualified making more money, people with less talent excelling and making it to the top of the pyramid over people who are working hard with amazing quality business and whatever they are creating. We see this time and time and again. And the reason a lot of those mediocre people make it is because they do not limit themselves. They aren't looking at things out there going, that's not for me. I could never because of this. I could never because of that. I could never. And I used to be that way. I used to think because I had a small chest, I couldn't wear certain things. I used to think that because my stomach wasn't flat, I couldn't wear certain things. And the way that I shifted this was to simply start saying, but how could I make that work? But how could I make that happen? That difference in perspective is powerful. It's so powerful. So often I see this on so many fashion girlies like pages where it's like, oh, that's cute, but I could never because my belly, or that's cute, but I could never because I have this body type. That's cute, I can never because. There are always going to be a million excuses why you can't. But I encourage you, no. I beg you. I'm going to beg you right now, babes. I'm begging you. Find the one reason why you can. Find the one reason why you can and figure out how to make it happen. Because truly everything you want is on the other side of these barriers that a lot of the times we have built for ourselves. Once I realized I really can pull off anything, it's just a matter of whether or not I want to put in the work to do it. That changed the game. Like, that opened so many doors when it came to my style, and it really shifted my perspective on how to get dressed, how to pair things together. And that is one of the reasons my style continues to slap the way that it does. I'm not gonna be humble here. Once I stopped asking everyone else their opinion and listened to what I liked, once I stopped talking bad about myself and really decided to show myself love and accept myself as I am, once I started to not limit myself and say, okay, I actually like that, how can I make that work for me? Instead of saying, oh, but I could never, oh, but I couldn't, there's gonna be a million excuses. Baby, find the one reason why you can. And that's that Delulu. When I tell you all these girls in 2024, all of us talking about be Delulu, it literally is that. Like, it literally is that. I cannot stress that enough. These first three things literally not just have dramatically improved my style, but just have improved my life. And I actually go more in depth in these topics in my newsletter, which I share every month to talk more about style tips. I do exclusive roundups, plus discounts on pieces that you are probably already buying. So make sure if you haven't already to go ahead and subscribe. I promise I do not bombard you. Like when I say it's once a month, it's once a month. Moving into the fourth thing that I stopped doing, and that was slacking on my routines. Now look, I get it. Life has been lifing, right? Like Destin said it best, life can life. I totally understand that. But one of the things that I learned was once I started sticking to my routines, working out regularly, making sure my skincare was taken care of, eating better, I felt good about myself. And that really was the biggest takeaway from being consistent with my workouts, being consistent with eating good. A lot of people go into that like, I'm trying to drop 10 pounds, I'm trying to look good, I'm trying to get snatched. Usually what happens is one of two things. You hit the goal and then you stop because you've hit your goal. You snatched, you give it body, so now you want to enjoy it. And unfortunately what happens is you enjoy it a little too much. Been there, trust me, been there. And now you're back having to start that process back over. Or the second thing happens is you're aiming for a goal, say to drop the 10 pounds, drop a size, and you never get there, so you give up. And I've been there too, and I have been there too. Your girl yo-yoed literally for the first 5 to 6 years out of college for that reason. And I found that, of course, when you are on the upswing, you put on that weight, you're just in that rut, you don't feel good. And when you don't feel good, you don't feel like getting dressed. You don't feel like getting cute. You're not feeling your best self. And then you're starting to talk bad about yourself. You're starting to shame yourself. You're starting to make yourself feel bad. You see where I'm headed with this. And the way that I really helped and shift this for myself, there are 3 things, honestly, when it comes to building routines. 1, you need to make it realistic. You need to make it doable, right? For me, like the 20-step Korean skincare, it's not gonna happen, right? Getting up early at 5:30 in the morning is not for me. So the first thing I urge you when you are looking at your routines is to make it realistic. If you really only got 10 minutes in the morning, don't try and make a 30-minute routine fit into 10 minutes. Find a way to get everything you need to get done in those 10 minutes. When it comes to working out or eating healthy, find those things that are gonna make it as easy as possible. Whether that's meal prep, finding the right like pre-packaged things to make your life easier. I have been swearing by like better bagels, protein pasta, Kodiak cakes. So when I know I'm in a rush or I'm on the go or I have a busy schedule, that doesn't mean that I'm going to be eating bad. And same with my fitness. My viewpoint on working out is if I'm able to get to the office and work, I am able to work out, and I stopped making it an option. It wasn't like, I don't feel like it, I can do it tomorrow. It really turned into like, hey, I might have missed it this morning, but I have time during lunch. You know what, my day got packed, I don't have time during lunch, so I'm gonna have to do it after work. And it wasn't an option. It wasn't like, hey, if I feel like it, it was nope. If you miss the first 2 chances, you're absolutely gonna go ahead and do this after work. And I stopped making it optional. And by doing that, I got to a point where it just became second nature. My routine now is I wake up, I work out, I walk the dog, I make myself breakfast, and I go into my morning, right? And when I had my 9 to 5, it was after work, I would walk the dog, go to the gym, and then make myself dinner. And when you stop making these things optional for yourself, and I get it can be so easy, like I'm gonna just miss it this once. When you stop making these things optional for yourself, you're just gonna find that you are feeling good more often. And that's the third thing when it comes to these routines and these goals is I honestly don't really have, it's a smart-ish goal, I will say, right? My goal is always to do more good than bad. So the goal is to eat healthier more times than I don't. The goal is to work out more times than I don't. And I break that down into a day. So the goal is to eat healthier more times in that day than I don't. And when it comes to workouts, I look at that throughout the week. And the goal is that I've worked out more times within the week than I don't. And over time, those little things, because I'm doing more of the good than the bad, that stacks up over time. And that's one of the reasons consistency, no matter what you're trying to do, is so important, because the more that you show up, that means the more that you're doing things. And the more you do things, the easier it's gonna become, the less stressful it's gonna be, and you're just going to naturally start making your way towards the goals that you have set for yourself because you're doing it more often than you're not. That was one of the biggest aha moments I had when it came to my fitness, and when everyone always says it's those small steps, it's your daily routine, that's exactly what they mean. It doesn't have to be this grandiose, ooh, I'm gonna lift super heavy and run 12,000 miles and I'm gonna do the Ironman. It's not gotta be that crazy, okay? Really, it could even be as simple as, I'm gonna make sure I have a healthy breakfast and I'm gonna make sure I walk today. That can be it. And those 2 things, I promise you, you're gonna just feel good. And those endorphins, once they get flowing and going, you're gonna be like, okay, now let me get dressed. Let me really do a little something today, put a little razzle dazzle on. And those feel good endorphins do make such a huge difference. I talked about this in my habits that really improve my style video. Working out just to get my endorphins going really has improved my style just because I feel good about myself. And I do have that extra energy then to really dive in my closet, have fun, and dress in a way that makes me feel amazing. And speaking of getting dressed, that is number 5. I stopped wearing sweats and loungewear for a while. And I talked about this in my video years ago on how I improved my style. And after college, I literally threw away all of my sweats, like all my Purdue stuff, a lot of my Zeta stuff. I'm actually slightly mad because I have literally like 2 Purdue shirts. Not giving school spirit. But I did that because really the ultimate goal was to get dressed every day. And in forcing myself to get dressed every day, I started to quickly learn what I liked to wear, what I didn't like to wear, the materials that I loved on my body. Again, that materials engineer in me. I learned the combinations that felt the most comfortable to me that were like sweats, but still were dressy, especially because after college I went straight into my 9 to 5. So I was experimenting with workwear. I was leaning into slacks and trousers and button-ups and understanding the workwear and the styles and the materials that felt good, made me feel good, but then also looked professional and worked for my 9 to 5. So this one is very, very easy to implement. It really just is get dressed every day. Even if you are getting just out of your PJs and putting on a nicer matching set, a nicer loungewear, or even styling up your loungewear, right? I encourage you, if you just aren't ready to like, I'm gonna throw on jeans, I'm gonna throw on slacks, find ways to really dress up even your loungewear. Leaning into that is gonna help you understand how you like to style things, what little things you can do even on those lazy days. Maybe you are craving that sweatsuit, but you do wanna make it look nicer. Like for me, dressing up a sweatsuit is as easy as like a fun pair of sneakers and a really great jacket. When I say that look is so undefeated, if I want to just make my sweatsuit look a little more thought out while still being cozy, that's something that I would have never That is something I would have never learned if I didn't force myself. And trust me, in the beginning, it was a lot of force. It was like, ooh, I do wish I had some sweats, and I don't. And a lot of standing in front of my closet like, Kay, so I don't got sweats. Why did we get rid of ours, JB? Why would we do that? But once I got over that hump and got over that slump, it became so much easier to look in my closet and go, oh, I feel like this today, or oh, I do have this piece. And that really helped to improve my style because I learned not to rely on sweats to feel comfortable, and I learned to find pieces that do work for a 9-to-5, that do work for corporate America, that felt like sweats to me while still being professional and looking put together. Now, another trickier thing that took me a while to stop was scrolling when I'm bored. Keep in mind, I am a content creator, so a lot of the time I would be lying to myself like, ooh, I'm just scrolling to get inspiration. I'm scrolling to get outfit ideas. I'm scrolling to really like get inspired. But really, scrolling when you're bored can be so dangerous. One, because it's just so easy to get sucked in. It can be such a huge time suck. And sometimes that's okay. Sometimes you need something mindless. You need something that's just taking your mind off of whatever might be like stressing you at the time. I get that. But when you are like constantly scrolling, you are taking in so much information. You're almost overloaded and you don't even take the time to process what you're seeing. And I have found that a lot of these apps are doing that by design. Like, that's why I will not spend a lot of time on TikTok or Instagram. My favorite platform, and I'm always gonna say this besides YouTube, is Pinterest. But even with that, I have to pace myself because I found when I was scrolling, I was taking too much in. I was really getting distracted. And I also was very prone to just impulse shopping a lot. And I'm gonna talk about that a little bit later in the video. So curbing this habit wasn't as difficult as I thought it would be. I found when I started scrolling and I just couldn't seem to get out of it was to close out of my apps and start journaling or reading or coloring. I just found that when you are too deep in what everyone else is doing, it's gonna make you kind of go back to your old ways. You're like, okay, I'm seeing everybody else wear this. So now you're starting to maybe search for other people's opinions on what you should be wearing, what you shouldn't be wearing, and you're not really listening to yourself, right? That's the first thing that happens when you are scrolling. It's so easy to be like, well, I see everyone else wearing this. Maybe I need to be wearing this, right? So you start to doubt yourself a little bit. The other thing when it comes to scrolling is a lot of that stuff is designed to keep you there. And a lot of these brands are really doubling down on trying to get you to shop. And when you are trying to improve your style, you don't need to buy more clothes. A lot of us have a lot of amazing clothes in our closet. We just don't really know how to style. But it can be easy to go from I'm looking for inspiration to suddenly I'm shopping for something I don't need when you're scrolling. So learning to stop that and replace it with healthier habits, replacing them with more creative habits, really got my juices flowing even more when it came to my style. The next thing that I stopped doing that dramatically improved my style was that I stopped buying new clothes before shopping my closet first. So many times, especially with what I do, I have a lot of clothes. Like Carrie Bradshaw said, I like to see my money right where I can see it, hanging in my closet. But the thing is, a lot of us have very disorganized closets. And if you've never done a closet declutter, it's so easy to lose track of all the clothes that you have. And I have a whole video on how I quickly do a closet clean out, declutter my closet to make sure everything is organized so I can see it for this exact reason, because 9 times out of 10, I already have something very similar in my closet. But when my closet was disorganized, I would lose track. And that's how a lot of us end up with like 4, 5, or 6 of the same thing or very similar things. And so every time that I see something new scrolling online, because I'm definitely an online shopper, there are some great stores here in Metro Detroit, but a lot of the brands I love just are not local. So I'm an online shopper, and every time that I see something that I love, that it just takes me like, because I have talked about that, if a piece of clothing does not give you that reaction, you really don't need to spend your money on it anyway. But when I see a piece of clothing that makes me have that reaction, I make sure to go in my closet and I make sure to go in and double check. You got to check your list twice, Santa style, and make sure that I don't have something that is close enough already in my wardrobe. And even if I don't have something very similar in my wardrobe, I often find that a new piece can unlock a whole new outfit I never thought of with pieces that I already own, which gives you that same dopamine rush, that same excitement as buying something new. So I end up saving a lot of money that way by just simply shopping my closet first when there is a new piece that I'm looking at, eyeing up, and feeling like I might need. I make sure to test that out, that there is that gap in my wardrobe. And by doing that, the next thing that I stopped doing was impulse purchasing. Impulse purchasing, we've been there. You just are walking through the store and just, it catches your eye, it just catches you. Now look, I get it. The reason that we all say that like our impulse purchasing isn't that bad, like it's not the worst, is because we always reference that like one time where an impulse purchase actually worked out for us, right? But if you really think about the amount of times you impulse purchase something and it actually was necessary or worked out or was something that you got a lot of wear out of, odds are that's a very, very low percentage. And the thing is, you need to have boundaries with yourself because I get it. It ain't tricking if you got it. However, just because you have it does not mean you need to spend it, okay? Like we always kind of play this dangerous game. If I want it, I'm gonna get it and I deserve it and I deserve a little treat. I deserve a little something. That is a really bad lack of boundaries with ourselves. And that's one of the things that took me a long time to learn. I really thought that was like treating myself and making myself feel good. But when you are doing that at the expense of like you actually don't have money to be spending on it, or you are just justifying overspending on things you don't actually need, it's a dangerous game. So for me, a very, very simple rule that I follow is the 24-hour rule. If I see something that I just love and I feel like I gotta have it, I make myself wait at least 24 hours. And honestly, even after the 24 hours, I really do challenge myself to actually wait until it goes on sale. Because most of the time, I don't know about you, I'm in a position I really don't need new clothes. I really don't. And when you come at it from that perspective where it's not a need, it's a want, and do you really want to spend full price on something that you can get on sale? 90% of the time, my answer is going to be no. Like if I can get that on sale, I'm gonna wait till it goes on sale. And majority of the time, I get the piece on sale. Occasionally, a piece will sell out, but for whatever reason, the fashion gods, they be blessing me because somehow it will restock in my size just before it goes on sale. So I end up getting a lot of my pieces on sale for that reason, whether it's 20% off, 50% off, 70% off. Not only will waiting that 24 hours help you just to retrain your brain, but then really challenging yourself as to like, do I need to be spending that much on this piece? Like just because the brand has decided it's $140, that's great. That doesn't mean I need to spend $140. I don't need that piece right now. So I can in fact wait until that goes on sale for 20, 40, 50% off. And if I don't get it, it's not going to break my wardrobe either. Like that's the other thing that I think a lot of us forget. Like you have fire pieces in your closet already, right? Like, so if you don't add this, it's not going to take away from all the amazing pieces you already have in your closet that you can be wearing anyway, right? Sure, it would add, it would be nice, but retraining ourselves that new clothes do not replace the cool clothes we already have. That's so important to improving your style because you guys know that I have an eye for some pieces that you probably glossed over at your favorite places. I get asked that all the time, but I like to remind myself and I urge you to remind yourself that you don't need anything new. You don't need anything new. And even though you want it, that doesn't mean you need to get it right now. And that doesn't mean you can't get it eventually. You want to make sure that this is something that's going to be worth the money you're spending on, whether you choose to pay full price or you get it on sale. You want to make sure that this is going to be something that gets worn and is worth the money and isn't something that you're going to wear the one time and you end up having to struggle to resell or give away to somebody. You know what I mean? Now, when it comes to shopping for clothes, the biggest thing, like the one thing, I wanted to narrow it down to one thing for you that truly changed everything that I stopped doing was I stopped buying clothes that just did not actually fit how I wanted them to fit. Because like most people, I don't want to go get my clothes tailored. I totally understand. While I do get my clothes tailored on occasion, I don't want to have to get every single thing tailored. And I'm also not good with a sewing machine. I have tried, okay? Attempts have been made and sewing just right now is not my forte. So instead of forcing things and trying to figure out how best to like make them look good or make them look okay, like I just stopped settling when it came to clothes. I mean, I stopped settling for a lot of things once I turned 30, but when it comes to clothes specifically, I stopped settling for just okay. It will do. This is just an interim piece. I don't buy things like that anymore. I don't buy anything that does not work exactly how I want it to work or need it to work. I don't buy things that I feel like I have to fuss with or do a lot with to make look good. I stopped doing that. I'm not settling. Not when it comes to clothes. Not when I'm spending my money on it, right? Because when you think about all the other things when you do spend your money, how picky you are, right? Like you're not just gonna go to any restaurant because you're hungry. You are picky about where you're gonna go and get your food from, or where you're gonna go and get your coffee from, your donut, whatever it is that you like to indulge in, right? Your car, the stocks you might invest in. You are gonna be very, very picky about where your money goes when it comes to that. And I learned that being that picky about my clothes was such a game changer. If it doesn't stop where I want it to stop, if it doesn't sit how I want it to sit, if it's not the exact color I want, if it doesn't feel comfortable how I thought it was gonna feel comfortable from a fabric perspective, I'm going to send it back, return it, and get my money back every single time. There is not anything that I will keep, even when it comes to like free t-shirts and things like that. I was at the Arts Beats and Lyrics event here and they gave out Jack Daniels long sleeves and it wasn't my style. I didn't like it. So I got So I already gifted that to somebody else. Even when it comes to like chill stuff, oversized tees, all of that makes a difference, because if you are trying to look good and always look good, you need pieces that always look and feel good on you. You do. And why would you waste your money on something that doesn't? Why would we do that? We're not doing that. Especially if you don't got it like that, right? Especially if you are on a budget. Why would you spend your money on something that is not hitting exactly how you want it to hit? And that's why I'm so picky about where I shop at, because at the very least, I need to be able to return my clothes to you and get my money back. I don't do store credit, okay? The only time I might do store credit is like a Black-owned business. But even then, I'm so picky because odds are I wanted one very specific thing. And if I don't want anything else from your site, I'm not going to risk it unless I know for sure it's going to work how I want it to work, because I'm not wasting my money. I'm not doing it, especially when it comes to clothes, right? And that's not to say that I will not spend a lot of money on something, right? I have designer pieces. It's not about how much I spend. It just is the concept of, if I'm going to spend this amount of money, I want to make sure that I'm going to be able to wear it as often as I want to wear it, and I'm not going to run into issues or anything like that, and it's going to sit how I want it to sit. So I urge you to stop accepting bare minimum clothes. Stop accepting clothes that do not do what you need them to do. Go ahead and be even pickier than you are now, because that will change your style drastically, okay? Literally putting clothes back has saved me so much money and really made me understand even more just what I liked, how I like pieces to work together, and how to put outfits together in a way that just makes me feel and look amazing. Now, number 10, look, number 10, here's what really, honestly, I think all of us can benefit from. I know I benefited from the most, and that was to stop taking it so seriously. Stop taking it so seriously. I get it. All these social media apps have you feeling like you got to be picture ready at every moment and looking perfect and looking put together. You don't have to do all that. Let me remind you, you don't have to do all that, okay? Unless this is your job, or if that's something that you personally want to do, stop putting that pressure on yourself, because putting that pressure on yourself is what's making this no fun. It's making it harder to figure out what to wear, and it's just making it more stressful. And when you are approaching this just from I want to feel good today. So what pieces in my closet are going to make me feel good today? What do I want to express today? What just feels the most me today? That's a completely different experience than like, I need to look like a baddie, but my body isn't giving what it needs to give, or my skin isn't giving what it needs to give. It's just not. You're stressing yourself out. And stress, baby, if you did not know, that's one of the leading killers. And as my grandma Darla would always say, you are not gonna stress me today or ever. You're not gonna stress me. I'm not gonna let you stress me. So stop taking all of this so seriously. Have more fun with it. Like, when you are coming at this from a different perspective. Again, this is why we are here. This is why you're on my channel. We are shifting our mindset to make this a fun experience, to make this more enjoyable experience, to learn, again, not just like you gotta look good all the time. That's why I focus on feeling good as well, because when you are focusing on putting pieces that you feel good in your closet, the rest of this becomes so much more fun, so much more easy, and you are naturally going to have the killer style and look amazing all the time. But when you are pressuring yourself and stressing yourself out, making yourself feel bad, talking bad about yourself, you're not going to get there. So I hope that you are taking that away, that we are shifting our mindset, we are opening ourselves up to opportunities, and that's going to help you find not just what makes you look good, because baby, what did I say? I do want you to look good, but I really want you to feel amazing and feel confident too. Now, if you found this video helpful, then I know that my entire playlist on how to improve your style is going to help you out even more, way more style tips that are really going to help your mindset shift and dramatically improve your style. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button in case you didn't already, so you do not miss a video, and I will see you over there. Thanks so much for watching.